Hey, how you doing? I'm back. Today, you are here at Morgan Senko for Poetry Readings. I will be reading Self-Compassion by James Cruz. I'll also be reading Mourning by Margarita Cruz. I'll offer some tips for writing writer's block, and then also I'm going to share some of my future plans for videos coming up in the future, and a little reminder. So stay tuned if you'd like to watch that. So I'm starting with Self-Compassion by James Cruz. So here's James Cruz. James Cruz's most recent book, The Path to Kindness, Poems of Connection and Joy, is forthcoming from Story Publishing in April of 2022. The co-founder of the Poetry of Resilience seminars, he lives in Shaftesbury, Vermont, on Wabanaki and Mohican land. My friend and I snickered the first time we heard the meditation teacher, a grown man, call himself Honey, with a hand placed over his heart to illustrate how we too might become more gentle with ourselves and our runaway minds. It's been years since we sat with legs twisted on cushions, holding back our laughter, but today I found myself crouched on the floor again, not meditating exactly, just agreeing to be still, saying honey to myself each time I thought about my husband splayed on the couch with aching joints and fever from a tick bite. What if he never gets better? Or consider the threat of more wildfires, the possible collapse of the Gulf Stream, then remembered that in a few more minutes, I'd have to climb down to the cellar and empty the bucket I placed beneath a leaky pipe that can't be fixed until next week. How long do any of us really have before the body begins to break down and empty its mysteries into the air? Oh, honey, I said for once, without a trace of irony or blush of shame. The touch of my own hand on my chest, like that of a stranger, oddly comforting, in spite of the facts. The next one is called Mourning by Margarita Cruz. Margarita Cruz is the author of the chapbook Americana. Here's her picture. She currently writes for Flagstaff Live and serves as the vice president of the Northern Arizona Book Festival and as the assistant editor for Tolson Books. "5 a.m. The world is silent, save for the heater in the hallway, the cars swooshing down the main road, the vibrato of every single driver, every creak of a settling house. Lay my head down, press it into pillow. On the windowsill, a jar of coins, sunlight crawling through the water in an empty spaghetti jar. A spider settles itself into the warmth of my house, inside the body, ghost of IVs, needles, feeling breathless in a hospital bed. Somewhere inside my brain aware of the machine pumping oxygen, beeping attached by wires to the chest. In the chest, an animal. The animal forgetting how to howl, to crawl, to find the words." And this poem is, to describe more of it, it's at the very beginning of the pandemic, I was hospitalized throughout March due to a precardial effusion. After I began rehabilitation, I challenged myself to write a poem each day, following the writing prompt Chelsea Johnson had given the Northern Arizona University MFA program while I was attending at the time, as a way to document and derive meaning from the torn world. Everything had changed after the surgery, and I was paying attention to my heart in a very different way than I ever had before. This was one of those very early poems I wrote about upon trying to listen to my new world. Margarita Cruz. So now I'm going to move over to some tips for writer's block. Anybody that is also thinking about doing some writing. So the first tip is to limit your distractions and get to a quiet room. Just going off into your own corner, no TV, maybe into your room or into, whatever space you have that is like quiet, into your car. That's a good one. And just limit your distractions. Just have your pen and pencil, or have your notes out on your phone. Whatever you can grab, and just be by yourself. That is the first step, honestly. So before you pick up your pen, it helps to read something like an old book, and let yourself be influenced by the author, and as you're reading it. So just find a book of your interest, and just read a chapter or so, or even the introduction, and so you can kind of get your mind in the mindset of someone else that's doing a lot of writing. So think about your usual passion subject and write whatever comes to you, long or short. I think what can be overwhelming about writing is that you are conditioned to think that you have to write a certain amount, and you're kind of stressed out, like it has to be all of this amount. But when it comes to writing, I don't think you should put any pressure on yourself to write a certain amount, even if it happens to just be one sentence, or a couple of lines. Like, just give yourself however you're able to. You can just write as much comes to you. And it helps when you're writing about your passion subject, because you're so into it, so it's like natural to give a lot of your emotional energy to it. I think it helps not to think about what is overwhelming you, but to focus on letting out what is naturally in your heart. So it's like, what your interests are, what your passions are, what you like. And so in turn, if you're writing about it, then it's just probably going to naturally come out. So those are my tips to help you get over the hump of writer's block. So now I want to transition to what I'm going to be doing in my next videos. I would like to start a guided meditation series. A couple of the things that I'm thinking about are on building self-worth, on getting unstuck, and on taking care of yourself. So let me know if that's something that you would like to hear moving forward, some guided meditations. I've just heard a couple of comments saying that they thought that my readings were soothing and comforting. So I would definitely like to do a couple of those moving forward. I'm also going back to doing some songwriting, so I'm probably gonna be performing my original songs coming soon. So I'm excited about getting back into that, and playing around with music and writing and stuff like that. And I want to show you one more thing, but I can't find it at the moment, so I'll be creative. The last thing that I wanted to do was show you my Morgan Sankofa bracelets. And I will show you what they look like, because I wear one every day. They look like this. And I want to offer anyone that's interested in them to let me know in the comments, and maybe shoot your email down there, and I can work on getting them to you. $1 or $2 or so to my PayPal, and you can have one of your own. Spreading the word, getting people to know about it, and getting more people interested is a goal of mine. So anyway, thank you for reading. Well, thank you for listening to me do some reading, and I hope that you enjoyed the poetry readings for today. Thank you so much. Feel free to like the video, and I will definitely be sharing this on Facebook.